Well, I have a few questions.
Yeah.
I feel, and I don't know if you agree with me, that sometimes realtors get stuck in their head that real estate is so different than any other kind of business or industry. And I come from a background of selling advertising, and it's really applicable. Sales is sales. So to me, the beauty of real estate is that you get to build your team however you want to.
Yeah, I've been selling since I was 15 years old. It transitioned extremely nicely. Like, it's the same thing. The key that I tell everybody, it's being able to do the same thing every day until you're sick and tired of doing it, and then keep doing it, right? There's no difference. It's prospecting every day. It's having conversations every day. It's getting contacts. It's getting clients out and about. It's getting contracts signed. It's all about those things on a daily basis that make us successful, right? There is no difference, I believe, from this industry to the car business, to selling marketing, to selling anything else. It's more people need to know about you, and people need to love and trust you, that they're willing to use you.
The funny thing about doing uncomfortable sales is that, you listen to people and they're saying, hey, you got to make, 15 calls a day. And then you start with 7, and then and you're uncomfortable, and then you build yourself up a little bit. And then it actually turns where when you don't do the 15 calls in a day, you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So it's really fascinating on the journey on that.
Very true. I used to shut myself. First year, I had this little corner in Revelation. I would go to that corner every day, and I wouldn't stop making calls. And what I told myself is, I'm going to work it like a job, right? So I was at the office at 8 a.m. I would run on the phone and prospect till about noon or 1. I would try to be on appointments in the afternoon. As late as my appointments went, I would go. I would turn the car around and go back out to the west side if I had another appointment or whatever, or someone just called me out of the blue. But I would not go home until 5:30 or 6 o'clock at night. Because I knew as soon as I went home, I'm done. I'm out. I'm not a guy that can work from my house. I've never been that guy. I'll never be that guy. I have to have a place to go. So for me, I just worked it like a job every day. And then sooner or later in real estate, you're so busy that you're trying to find the time to continue to the activities that got you busy. And I believe that's where most agents fail, is they get busy, they do the activities, they got 5 or 6 in escrow, or they got 5 or 6 in their pipeline, they get 2 in escrow, and next thing you know, they stop their lead gen activities. And that's where I think a lot of us fail. And then we get the up and down business. We don't create, consistency in the income because we don't have consistency in our activities.
Exactly. Share with me, how did you meet Jeremy? And then go ahead and throw him a softball and let him give his resume a little bit.
I love it. Well, I was hoping to take all the time. Jeremy was here just for moral support. So we'll keep talking, Heidi, and Jeremy can just sit there and look. No, I'm just kidding. So Jeremy was my hardest recruit. And we're going to tell this story so different, but I got, I was introduced to a new agent mastermind my second year in the business. I went to that new agent mastermind hoping to recruit agents out of it. But, we're up and coming agents. I went there, but I also went there to be of value. Okay. My first meeting, got there. I was able to share a ton of stuff. Met Jeremy, met a couple other guys, but immediately fell in love with Jeremy, just like everybody else does. You're around this dude for 5 minutes, and everybody loves him. So fell in love with him, and then I was like, okay, I want this guy. So it was all about just connecting with him. I used to show up to his open houses. Him and his mom are extremely close. Me and his mom now are extremely close, but back then they were always working together. So I was just trying to pour into him every time I saw them, have conversations. We had some amazing, deep, high level conversations about real estate, but it took me, 10 months, Jeremy? And then one day, the funny thing is, I remember we were having this conversation upstairs at Revelation one time, and he goes, I know what you're doing. And I go, no, you don't. And he goes, I know you're trying to get me. I'm like, I'm not trying to recruit you, man. I'm just trying to be your friend. I want to help you. And I was really giving him some good stuff that he could be implementing into his business that would take him to the next level. And, then next thing you know, probably 4 or 5 months later, he goes, okay, I'll join your team. It was like that, though. It wasn't like, hey, let's sit down and talk about your team. It was literally like, okay, what does it look like? Let me come on the team. And then he was on the team for about a year, and he crushed it. I mean, he did 45 units, just smash. I told him in the very beginning, I go, you're better than me, and you'll put more numbers on the board than me. I told him, you're better than me. You just got to do some of these other things, and it'll get you going. And did 45 units, 15 million. And then we've become really close friends over that last, year, 15 months. And it's just been a blessing. And for us to be partners now, I believe that God did it 100%. And it's just been a tremendous blessing to myself, to my family, to this team, to everything that we're doing. A lot of Jeremy's ideas have been implemented in the team, and it's made us a better team for sure. I am way more transactional, that car business mentality. Let's go do the hard work. Jeremy makes me pick my head up and say, okay, let's look at it as a whole. So, and his mom on top of that, his mom's been such a value add. She keeps both of us straight and everything. But so that's how we kind of got in business together. I think Jeremy would say that I changed his life. I mean, Jeremy, do you agree with
that? To be fair, yeah. So once I joined the team, I said, hey, Matt, I'm not where I want to be. I know I can do better. What should I do? And so we did this thing. It was August. It was 30 days of chick, and it was 30 days of doing anything and everything he said to do. I couldn't say no. I couldn't say I'm uncomfortable. I couldn't give any excuses. I had to do what chick told me, right? 30 days of chick. And that really set me up for the year I had last year, because I did the activities, that I was pushing off, or I felt like I didn't have to do, and I could find a different way of doing things, or I could use my creativity to get it done, whatever it was. I had every excuse in the book that now I hear from other agents, and I'm like, no, right? Like we can kind of find a mixture of doing, we could do it your way, but we have to implement these things because there's success behind it. But doing the 30 days of chick really set me up for the year I had last year. And so, yeah, you could say that Matt Chick changed my life. There you go, Matt.
Well, share with me, Jeremy, tell me if I'm wrong. When I first met you, I felt that I'm with Matt. I thought you were a great guy and obviously smart and all that. I felt like you didn't quite know where to put your focus. Like you were kind of sitting back and observing and watching and not quite sure what to do. Am I accurate in that, or did I misread you?
Totally. Yeah. And I think that's something a lot of new agents fall into. And so I'm happy I went through it, because now I can coach to it. And so agents get their license and they're like, hey, what the hell do I do now? Like, I'm ready to work, but what does that mean? What am I supposed to do? And not just waste your day trying to find the best CRM out there, or the new lead gen service, or all these other new shiny objects. It's about sitting down and actually doing the activity. And so that's what Matt gave me, was that sort of direction, for sure.
That's funny. I was just having a conversation with one of our realtors here, and they were saying about sometimes these coaching calls, they want more of the nitty gritty of exactly what people are doing. And it's like, yeah. I really feel like it's a mindset. If you think you're going to be a baller, then you become a baller. I mean, not to say you do have to do the work, but I think we're all grinders, naturally. So do you agree with me, or do you think it was more the systems? Was it attitude or systems?
It was both, I would say, for sure. I mean, I say it all the time, or me and Matt say it to our team all the time. You have to have a mindset shift from, you're now a business owner. You have to have an entrepreneurship mentality, which means you have to milk every opportunity that you get. And so if you have an extra 10 minutes, instead of hopping on TikTok or whatever, like you make a couple calls with that 10 minutes or whatever that is, like you fill it in with some sort of money-making activity and not just waste that 10 minutes. And so you have to have that mental switch that, hey, if I fail, it's on me. If I succeed, it's on me. I don't have excuses on either or. And so what am I going to do with my time? So I think it's a mindset for sure. But then actually learning how to do the activity is huge too. Yes. People can tell you, hey, go make 10 calls, 20 calls, 50 calls, 100 calls. But who do I call? What do I say? What am I supposed to do? What systems do I use? And so plugging in someone that can actually coach or teach around that is huge too.
Right. And then Matt, how do you coach somebody through that? Do you have scripts, or do you just
so we do a heavy one-on-one. So we'll do I call it an onboarding. We call it a 411, one-on-one, whatever you want to call it. And I believe in 5 lead gen levers. 2 are non-negotiable. Sphere of influence, social media. You got to play in them. If you're not playing in them, I believe you're stepping over dollars to get the pennies. The other 3, we really fact find, and what is it that you want to spend your time doing? Like, I enjoy the phone, but not everybody does. I don't want to go door knocking. I didn't have a bunch of success with door knocking. I don't know if it's because I'm scary looking, but people just didn't open the door for me, right? But I know a ton of agents that have built their business on door knocking. Right? Open houses, right? Open houses are a phenomenal way to lead gen. I didn't get a ton of success at open houses, right? And I think that's probably because of my attitude, right? I just have a different attitude than most. So I bang the phones. It's what I enjoy doing. But I'm not going to coach someone on hitting the phones if they hate it, right? So we really fact find and say, okay, what is it that you want to spend your time doing? What are you going to consistently want to do every day? And then we come up with a plan to do that. And then it goes right down to time blocking. You know, where do you spend your time? How do you spend your time? What does that look like? I'm a big believer in training. Like I think you have to train. You have to train objections. You have to train conversations. You know, so you know I'm a big believer in role plays, right? So, but I used to role play with my wife. You know, at home as I was learning the purchase contract, I would be talking to her, you know, in the kitchen as she's making dinner, and try to just go over the purchase contract with her, just so I felt dialed in, right? Because the more confidence that I had, the more I knew I was unstoppable. In real estate, there is a big learning curve, right? You know, so how do you go learn all this information in the next 12 months so it doesn't take you 5 years? You know, so we talk about the 5 lead gen levers. We then figure out our schedule and how we're going to run, and then it's up to you to stay committed. But I think where most it's here. I think it's the mentality of it. Okay, I did my calls for the day, I'm done. Okay, I knocked my doors for the day, I'm done. Okay, I showed 3 houses, I walked 3 houses, I'm done. Everybody's always looking how to be done, right? How do I get done with the day? It's not about that. It's about how do I win the activity, and how much energy can I push into the activity to make sure the activity is successful. You can make 500 cold calls and it can all suck if your attitude sucks. You can also make 500 phone calls and find one deal, and you could be like, oh, I spent all that time and I found one deal. Well, at least you found one. What else did you find today? Right. So I think it's a mindset shift and how to be grateful for the opportunities we create for ourselves. So we teach a lot of mindset, how to go through it. And the truth is, a lot of people get in the real estate career with no sales background, with no background in professional business or anything. Right. So then you're coaching how to run a successful business. How do you run a successful day? Like I've met with people they're like, I've never ran my schedule at all. They didn't even know how to use Google Calendar. Right. You know, so like then you're teaching these other components where you really have to take a step back as professionals and say, okay, how do we get these people to launch it? And then I believe it. So you get this framework out, you get the lead gen levels, you get the time blocking, and then you don't overcomplicate it. Here's the things you say, when to say it. You need to be at script practice every day so you learn the conversations. You need to be having real estate conversations at night with your wife. You need to be having real estate conversations everywhere that you're out, and just stick to the process. And then eventually something's going to crack. I always said there's this breakthrough moment. There's this moment in life that it's just going to go boom. And next thing you know, you're like, oh crap, I actually sounded really good on the phone right there. I sounded like I knew what I was talking about. It was like this moment happened and boom, shit, I know what I'm doing, right? And I think that's what everybody needs to look forward to is you might not know it now, you might not have it now, it might not be right now, but 6 months from now, you might be a killer. You might be a killer.
I have 2 comments to that. One is when you have that moment, it is shocking of how it changes you personally and professionally.
So good.
Your whole life changes when that moment happens, and you are basically fearless, and anything you want in life you can do.
Yeah.
And you can start looking at bucket lists and how to give back. And yes, I'm totally with you. And then I really want to stop for a moment and tell you how much I admire you, that you're looking for people's strengths.
Yeah.
The most of the team leaders that I speak to, they're like, do it my way and you're going to be successful. Well, I've said from day one, if you're going to make me cold call, I will be a stripper before I'm going to cold call. No stinking way.
Right?
There's no way.
Yeah.
But I'll do open houses, I'll door knock all day long. So I think it's so important. You got to find what's right for that person.
I don't think I've heard that one before.
You're welcome. You can use it. You're welcome.
I would do the same thing. You know, like it is the mindset, right? Why are you laughing, Jeremy? I could be a stripper. Man.
I don't really want to see it. So let me know where you get that job so I can avoid it.
I think the cool thing is what you said is it's when it clicks and you really figure this thing out and you really start producing an income that changes your life. And that income is a lot different for a lot of people. I've sat down with a lot of people and they're like, if I could just make 80 grand, if I could just make 60 grand. Like, so we don't push our beliefs or what we think on anybody. I'll push your thought process to make you think bigger. But, when you show someone to go make 6 figures and go make 100 grand and they've only ever made 35, and you've changed that person's life by giving them the skill set and the commitment and the confidence to go out there and do that, there's something in that that's so rewarding for all of us, right? And you understand because you've helped a lot of people. Like, there's something about it when you can help someone understand that they are worth what they can create. We all have this, our self-worth comes from what everybody else will put on us. Oh, you're worth 35 grand a year, worth 50 grand a year. Oh, I'll pay you a salary of 40,000, 75,000, 100,000. But when you get that mental shift that you're worth what you can go create in this world, and there is nothing that can stop you. If you can dream of it and you can think of it and you can go take the actions for it, there's something liberating about that. And to watch people go through that, that's the coolest part about this. And making the money is great. Having a little bit of financial freedom and getting where you want to go and building a big business and having all that, that's amazing. But when you see someone really go, boom, I can now support my family forever and I can live the life that I want, that's why we do this thing. Sorry, I got on a soapbox. I should have.
No, I'm with you. And I feel that there are a lot of people who they're looking at the real estate market and they're so quick to be intimidated by the changes or what's going on instead of figuring out, how do I add this into my business? It's fascinating. Jeremy, how do you get people who are stuck? I talk to people all the time and they are just mentally stuck. Some of them are actually doing the activities and they're just not breaking through. Have you found a magic inch, or do you just have to just keep pushing them? Hi, whoever that is.
It's our video guy.
Is that Wyatt?
Yeah.
I think that's a huge thing right now. A lot of agents are getting discouraged and they're getting tired because we have a lot of us have a lot of buyers in the car, and it's taking months to get a buyer under contract. And so what's happening is our pipeline is getting more full, and so we're not doing the activity to actually find more business. And it's kind of a dangerous game that we're playing right now because we're taking so much time to put our buyers in the house. We're not doing the activity that got us the buyers in the first place. And so what we're kind of coaching around is protecting your schedule at all costs. And you have to protect your schedule. Whenever you decide to prospect, whether that's 9 to 12, whether it's 1 to 4, like whatever you choose, you build your calendar out the way that you want to work it, right? You have to protect that time to generate more business, because what's happening is we're not doing the activity that got us the business in the first place because we're so dang busy trying to get our buyers in the car. And so what that means is we're losing a lot of momentum. And because we're getting tired, we're putting in 10 offers, not getting accepted. We're not seeing any good results coming from the daily grind because we're not going out and finding more business. Like, one of the best highs in the world in real estate is finding a new client, right? Hey, we got someone pre-qualified, we got someone to a lender. Let's get excited. Let's get this ball rolling. But we're not seeing it a lot because we're not doing the activity that got us those buyers because our pipeline's getting too full. And so protecting your schedule is huge, so you can ride that momentum wave still. And we're just not really seeing that with a lot of agents right now because they're so worried about the clients they currently have in the car.
Okay, let me follow up on that. So I've seen some realtors where they actually don't want to take any buyers. They're saying, listen, I can't serve my clients well. I can't get them the houses. Then I talked to a couple of high performing people and they're like, listen, we set expectations from the get-go. You're not going to get the house with the white cabinets. Just forget it. You're a first time home buyer. It's probably going to be a little bit of a shit show, but it's going to be okay because you're only going to live there for 2 years. And that they're saying that they're getting their clients into homes within like just looking at 3 offers. Three times they put in offers and they're getting somebody accepted.
Yeah. I mean, setting expectations is the biggest thing in the whole thing right now. Like, you have to have the buyer consult. Most importantly, it's no longer, hey, I'll meet you at the first house. We'll talk about the process while we're walking the house, whatever, that whole thing. It's, hey, let's sit down. Let's have a consult because we can set up expectations properly. And the expectations are, hey, this is going to be a roller coaster, FYI. Like, the market's crazy. And I'll pull a bunch of closed properties. I'll show them list price, sold price, and I'll kind of give them examples of what the heck they're looking for. But like, working with buyers, I mean, it's still very possible if you set the expectations right. I mean, I'm getting buyers under contract for sure, and not going $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 over. I got one at $6,000 over appraisal off market off Germain and Cooper a couple weeks ago. I got one at list price in Arcadia a couple weeks ago. Like, it's still possible. But setting expectations is no doubt the number one thing that we are coaching to when you get a buyer. No doubt. Or else it is a time suck.
Right. Matt, do you find it interesting that people get into real estate because they want to do business their own way? And here is an opportunity for you to really lead your clients. This market is an opportunity for you to be the leader, and yet they're taking steps back from it instead of leaning into it.
I think it's just like life in general, man. People shy away from the hard, right? Mm-hmm. It's hard to do the right thing. It's hard to go create something you want, right? So they just shy away from the hard. Having 10 buyers right now is not an easy task. Like your time is dealt with. Having one buyer right now, it's even worse because you're holding on to that commission check, right? You're hoping you're counting your chickens before they're hatched. So I think it's a commitment problem. And I agree everything you guys are saying. Like we have to be committed to doing business differently as well. Like I would say, I mean, Jeremy, correct me if I'm wrong here, but 20 to 25% of our buyers are going on off-market properties from our network of agents that we've been able to go out and do business. So we have our buyers agents going out there networking with other agents. Every conversation they ask, hey, what do you have coming up? Now we're paying everything we have to pay. Like they're not getting deals, right? We're still throwing the kitchen sink at it, but at least we're getting an opportunity. And then you throw in the flip space on top of it, right? We have everybody's telling me you can't flip in this market. We have six projects going right now. Every one of those projects, we have an end buyer already lined up. So then we went out and created our own inventory to solve our buyers' problems, right? So it's how creative can you be in this market, not push away from hard, but brainstorm on what you can do differently. And like you said, be the leader. Like I think so many people are scared to have real conversations with their clients because they're scared that their clients are going to go choose a different agent. But I guarantee you, your client will appreciate you and want to do business with you because you're real, you're authentic, and you did not pull punches. You told them the shit show that we're in. You told them what you have to get ready to go do. And you told them it was going to be hard. So when they start crying and they start whining, you can say, hey, remember, you told me you were committed. We're committed together. I'm not quitting. You're not allowed to quit. Let's go do this thing. Let's go find that house. And your clients will be like, yeah, you're right. You're right. Let's go do it. You're right. You know?
Exactly. That's the best way to serve them.
We had an issue on the sell side where we were some of our agents were telling clients that, hey, we're going to go multiple offers first weekend. And I'm like, guys, you need to stop saying that. Sure, you might be right. Right, you might be right now, but when you're not right and you only got one offer over a Friday and Saturday, stop telling people you're going to sell their house in 24 hours, right? I believe we have to train for the market that we're going in, not the market that we're currently in, right? So even like you got to just be consistently setting the right expectations every time. Here's the state of the market. Here's what could possibly happen, but eventually this could happen, right? So it's all about setting expectations. And like you said, the key word you said was leader. Like be a leader. Be a true leader to your client and show them that we are the expert in the industry. You know, there's a lot of clients think they know more than most agents, and some of them do, right? But you know, some of them do. But at the same time, make sure you know enough that you're protecting your client, because that's our number one responsibility. Making sure and we can execute their wants, dreams, and goals. It's that simple. But like you said, you can't shy away from the hard. Like if you're not pushing into the space right now, I believe that you're really setting yourselves up for failure. Like if you're really one of those agents that are saying, I don't want any buyers, I don't want to take this, it's too much, or I can't do it, I'm doing a disservice to my client by having them pay what they have to pay. I believe that you could put yourself out of business faster than you think, right? You should be leaning into this market. You should be fighting into this market. You should be getting creative, everything that you can do in this market. And I think you would be absolutely surprised what it looks like 12 months from now. And you look up and next thing you know, you put 25 buyers into over a year and you made your year and you made 300 grand.
I totally agree. And one thing about the real estate community is that they're so willing to share. So if your offers are not getting accepted, you know, turn to some of your fellow realtors and hear some of the tricks that they're doing to get their offers to stand out.
What's kind of cool about this market is no one's ever seen it before. And so it's allowing people who can think creatively to be creative. And so it's kind of neat. And so I'm loving it because there's no book on how to navigate this market. Like it's crazy, it's chaos. And so we have to get creative to try to figure out what the hell are we going to do to get our buyers in the house? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And so we can exercise that creative liberties that I love to do. And so I like it, you know, and I'm sick of hearing people saying, oh, this market's hard. I'm like, let's figure it out instead of just bitch and moan about it for the last 6 months. let's have fun with it.
But do you think that that came from because you're confident? I think when you hit that aha moment that Matt was talking about earlier, then you're able to think that way. But until you've hit that benchmark, you're not able to see that. And so you're internalizing everything that's negative.
Totally.
I think it's
a tough time for sure.
I think it's key there, Heidi, that you're surrounded by the right people. Like you're 100% right. There's people that might not have the confidence in this industry. Maybe you just started out, maybe it's brand new, or maybe you've been in it for 5 years, but you never really saw success. You have to change the room that you're in and go be in a room with people that are willing to share, willing to push you, willing to go do all that stuff. Like you got to find the right environment to thrive. I really believe that. I really do. Like I don't care about splits, costs, anything. Go pay whatever you got to pay to go win.
I also feel like this industry is so open. Like I think 20 years ago, which tells you how long I've been around, people didn't want to share their secrets. I bet you if somebody wanted to come to listen to one of your team meetings, they don't even have to be a member of your team to come. I mean, that's just the way real estate is now. Everything is around you. Just raise your hand and you're going to be involved. People are going to wrap their arms around you.
Yeah. Well, that's why we do these events every month now, just to try to provide value to the marketplace, and so we're doing one this Thursday on Facebook. We're doing one next month on wholesaling. Like we're always trying to provide value for the community and they can plug into what we do. Because me and Matt are a firm believer, we don't need more money, we need more people. And so we want to get as many people around us as possible so we can try to just provide value. And we also believe that we don't get opportunity unless we provide value first. So we want to lead with value to open up opportunities for everyone else involved.
Well, the other ingenious thing about that is that the realtor who, I spied and listened to one of your classes, now when they are on a cross sale with you, so you put in an offer on one of their listings, they're going to actually look at you first because you did give back.
For sure.
So true.
Yeah, it's just not that hard. If people just lead with their heart and have passion and have energy and integrity, the world's your oyster.
Dude, that's the takeaway today right there. Lead with your heart. Doesn't matter. Anything me and Jeremy said, if you take that, you're a better human.
Yeah. Okay. So Jeremy, if there was one thing you could have done that would have gotten you to this aha and success faster, what would that be?
Join Matt teams faster.
Not fight Matt so long. It was really just doing the activity, kind of what we spoke about right off the bat when we jumped on this call. When you said, you make the calls and it feels weird and awkward and you're full of fear making 15 calls, 20 calls. And then eventually you flip the script and it feels weird not to do the activity, right? And so once you get to that point when you just push yourself to the point where like, it's weird when I don't do the activity. Like I feel weird. I'm like, what the hell am I doing right now? I need to go do something. I need to do something. And so getting yourself to that point where you're so motivated by the activity that you need to get, and it's just by doing the activity over and over and over again, getting punched in the face over and over and over again. And so you're like, hey, like I'm good. Throw whatever you want at me, world. Like I can handle it, and I'm gonna continue going out there doing the things that work. I mean that's my best advice.
I love that. And then Matt, I'm going to throw it to you, but I feel that first of all, I appreciate you guys coming. I appreciate crossing brands. It's something that it's been important to me. I believe that we are able to change the world with our particular actions. And in real estate, we're actually able to hit a much larger world. So I want to tip my hat to both of you, is that you are good men doing good things and taking care of your clients. So I 100% appreciate you. And then Matt, we'll wrap up with, if you had one thing to say to realtors, what is your
how much time do we have? How much time do we have? Do we have enough time?
What is your value statement for being a realtor in Arizona?
This is so hard. I'm going to take it a different way that probably you weren't expecting.
Okay.
I wish I would have believed in myself sooner in life. My whole life, people told me that I was going to be swinging a hammer, that I was going to be jackhammering concrete. They told me that I was only ever going to do manual labor. So I believed the story that everybody told me. So if there's one thing that I could tell anybody in real estate, in life, and whatever, just believe in yourself so much that the naysayers go away. Listen, you're in the right vehicle, you're at the right spot in your life, you're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. And I think the big thing is just believe in yourself that you have the skill set, you have the ability. Maybe you need to tweak a little things to get better here and there and plug in a community, go to some events, do the things that you need to do, learn different systems, tools, and processes. Maybe you need to level up the way you're thinking just a little bit. But if there's anything I can tell you is start believing in you and that you're 100% worth it and you deserve it. You deserve your goals, you deserve your dreams, you deserve everything that you're going after in life. And I truly don't believe there's a better vehicle in this world to change your life and do what you want to do. If you would have told me that I would have made what I made last year, I would have told you I don't know, right? I told you I don't know if I would have said, yeah, okay, maybe. But because we lead with value and because I finally believed in myself that I had the skill set and the confidence to go do something in this world, that I was able to do it. So if there's anything, I'm telling you, go believe in yourself, love yourself. God will bless you. Just do the right activities, stay focused, and just love on everybody. Bring value first, and your life will change.